I think the number one thing that most people fail because of the lack of being honest with themselves. Vulnerability will allow you to be vulnerable with yourself by telling yourself the truth, ultimately changing your positioning because you are able to be vulnerable with your truth. But if I step into a space where I'm not allowed to be anything but what I am, how could I ever change it?
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. Listen, they call me Q the Boss. Look, today we're talking about two sides of the coin. See, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. There's multiple ways to look at things. But I genuinely believe that most people only look at one side of the coin. Today we're talking about two sides of the coin. I had some dope conversations today in my shop. And I was talking to a guy, and he came in the shop today. Before we get into some definitions, I want to bring up the word sympathy. Sympathy, a feeling of pity or sorrow for distress for another, right? Empathy, the ability to identify with or understand another situation or feelings. Empathy is the lack of feeling emotion, interest, or concern about something, right? I wanted to bring up these definitions so we can identify what they are, right? I don't think most people even know what empathy is. Apathy. Most people don't know what it is, right? There's a lot of differences, right? But today, I was in a shop and a guy was talking to me. We brought up his father, and he said his father was never in his life. And you can see through his testimony, he was very angry about it. And mine, he's about 40 years old, and it's still affecting him today, right? Sometimes, guys, I want you to understand with forgiving, it's not about the other person. It's about you healing from it. So sometimes you have to forgive in order to allow someone for them to get the reservation out of your mind. Shout out Pakistan. Pakistan is in the building. Wow. We got Pakistan in the building. But look, but the amazing part about it is he was mad at the fact that his dad wasn't there. And when you really evaluate it, his dad still had reservations in his mind. His dad still control how he feels. The whole concept today we're talking about is two sides of the coin, guys. A lot of the times we only see things the way we want to see things, ultimately allowing ourselves to think what we want to think. When you don't have an open mind to receive any new information, you ultimately believe what you want to believe. And then what happens is you make reservations. And once a person makes reservations for their beliefs, it's hard to change one's beliefs when one already believes that they know what they know. You made reservations for it. You believe this to be wholeheartedly true. It's hard to change a mind that's created this belief, right? In order to break thresholds, we have to allow ourselves to receive new information. And I always say closed eyes or a closed mind with open eyes is a dangerous mind. A closed mind with open eyes is a dangerous mind. Because your eyes may be open, but your mind has to be open to receive what the eyes are processing. You have to allow yourself to see new information, right? Because sometimes what may glitter ain't gold, and Kenzie proved that already. I took a shot, right? But I'm just getting at it. The logic is this. When you realize that in life, you have to be conscious to your thinking. I think most people only make reservation for what they believe, therefore only believe in what they believe because they only want to believe what they want to believe. And anyone that goes against their belief becomes the problem. I don't think the problem is the person that goes against your belief. I think it's natural to be challenged in your beliefs because sometimes you have to be able to hear others' beliefs so you can see that maybe you may be just a little bit wrong. But again, if the mind is closed, it won't receive that. It will take it completely different, right? But today I want you to call in. We're talking about being allowed to be vulnerable today on this topic. We want to talk about this today. We had a dope conversation today talking to a lot of people. I want my men on my podcast to have this emotion. I love my ladies because they always find outlets to vent. I love that about them. They've always found outlets to find ways to release their aggravation, their stress, and their emotions, right? And the reason why I think a lot of men truly don't live long, I'm being honest, I think because we literally die from stress-related causes. I think stress will kill you. One of my guys in the studio right now, he's very strong, right? But I want him to understand that strong is not the ability to harbor and hold information in your mind. Suppressing thoughts only leads to you either A, driving yourself crazy, or B, exploding. You ever see someone that overreacts? It's because they were never allowed to feel in their natural space. We gotta make it normal for each other to feel normal. I think most people don't feel normal anymore. We've allowed ourselves to be inhuman. Why do we not have empathy or sympathy or empathy for anybody anymore? Why is this the case? Why? I asked the guy today in this conversation, I said, if a man or a woman is on drugs, they come to you and they say, hey, I need help. I need you to take me to a place or a clinic so therefore I can literally seek help, right? Watch this question. When you're able to come to someone and seek help, that shows strength. But how come if I go to someone and I say mentally, I'm not all the way there, I need help? How come if I allow myself to be vulnerable at that moment, I'm considered weak? It don't make sense to me. Let me say that again. If I go to someone and tell them that I'm mentally going through something, then there's a problem. But if I go to them, right, and say that, hey, I need help getting off a substance, it's normal. What does that make sense? People, I think we need to reevaluate the way we think. Let's allow you to understand this. Vulnerability is the catalyst for strength. It shows your strength. By allowing yourself to be vulnerable, that means you are strong because it takes a strong person to allow themselves to be vulnerable. Right? So long story, I'll give you another story. So last night, I was talking to one of my colleagues' fathers, right? And when I was talking to him, we were having a discussion, and I said to him, I got a question for you. He said, what's going on? I said, I know you grew up rough. I know you grew up hard. To my people on my live in this podcast, I want you to understand, growing up hard and rough, I understand why you have such hard exterior. When I say exterior, right, meaning the surface level is very strong. You might be a turtle on the outside, but on the inside, you may be very soft. I think a lot of people hide how they genuinely feel by pretending to be stronger than what they truly are. And why is this? I genuinely believe that most people hide who they truly are by pretending to be stronger than what they truly are. Because it's sad that a person is not allowed to be vulnerable, right? And it's a sad situation. Why do I say this? Because if I'm mentally going through something, if I speak on it, why am I considered weak because of the fact that I feel? Why is that cool? So again, as I was talking to my colleague's father, he was allowed to be vulnerable. And while he was speaking to me, I was allowing him to be, to have my shoulder. And while he was having my shoulder, we were speaking on growth. We were speaking on the mentality of the culture. And he felt so comfortable being vulnerable that it was kind of like we had a therapy session. And it was allowing him to feel. I genuinely believe that most men, right, feel better when they vent to strong men. Right? Especially when a strong man is vulnerable. I genuinely believe that if you know you're a strong man, I think you should make it more natural for you to be strong. Right? Why do I say this? I say this because most strong men have to be an example for the guys that aren't so strong. Right? If I'm a man, and a lot of men view me as strength or masculine or alpha, right? Alpha only means good leader. So if I'm a good leader, I have to allow myself to be vulnerable so the people that follow me or believe in me will feel comfortable doing so. I genuinely believe, right, it's hard to surpass certain levels when you haven't even allowed yourself to be vulnerable at the level you're at. I think the number one thing that most people fail because of, the lack of being honest with themselves. Vulnerability will allow you to be vulnerable with yourself by telling yourself the truth, ultimately changing your positioning because you are able to be vulnerable with your truth. But if I step into a space where I'm not allowed to be anything but what I am, how could I ever change it? How can I ever fix anything that I'm not allowed to see or feel? How can I fix it? There's two sides to every coin. If you look at a coin, you flip it. Someone give me a coin. You flip the coin and you see that there's two sides, right? You have a side that's a heads and you have a side that's a tails, right? This is your coin. There's two sides. There's two sides to every coin. See, what I'm trying to get at is your head side might be the outside. The other side might be the inside. You have to work on both aspects of yourself in order to be a good person. Because I'm going to tell you something. On the outside, you may look every bit of healthy, but on the inside, you may be every bit of sick. And that's the human brain. A body walking, looking very strong and confident, but yet still inside, very sick. Because a lot of times we're not allowed to be vulnerable and speak on what's going on with us. Or if anything is remotely against me, I'm going to go against it. A lot of people do something called project. What I mean by project? Let's just say a person is very unhappy. What they do is ultimately want you to feel like them. So they'll create scenarios in their mind about you because you may say things about yourself that they don't want to believe because they don't believe it about themselves. So you got to understand that people project every single day. A projection is this. I'm going to go back to college. You were bad in high school. You might have been bad in high school, but yet and still you've matured. Throughout your maturation process, you understand the value of college and school now. And on top of it, you know who you are. But again, a person that's not there will project how they feel about themselves on you. So you have to be conscious of it. I remember when we first started the podcast, I was a little intimidated. I was a little nervous about talking about sensitive topics that people might get defensive or deflective over. I was a little scared about it. And I'm gonna be honest, the only reason why I was really scared is because I realized truth in today's society, it's the enemy. The lie has become the superhero. And for me, I love to live in my truth now. Because in order for me to go to a better level, I have to be honest with myself. I think the worst lie is the lie that you tell yourself. Because why? Your mind starts believing its own lie. I genuinely believe that most people believe their own madness. Here's the coin. On the outside, which is your head, I'm able to look like I got it all together. But when I turn the coin, I don't have it all together. It's Instagram Reels and showing what I want the world to see. Your perception can become your reality. And a lot of people's perception have become their reality. But going back to this vulnerability thing now, as I was talking to my guy's father, he was allowed to speak on things that he said he never was allowed to speak on. He kept saying to me every time, but society don't want men to be vulnerable. But society don't want men to speak on when they're feeling. And I genuinely believe a lot of men say things to me like this. Women don't allow a man to express themselves, and if they do, they'll use it against them. Let's retract that statement. Girls won't allow a man to be vulnerable and speak on the moments that he's not happy or he's feeling a particular way in his mental. A woman would never do that. A boy would make a woman feel bad about expressing her emotions when she's not truly all the way happy or she's going through something. We got to get back to being human, guys. I am no robot, I'm no machine. I know we're going into an AI world, but I am no AI. I'm every bit of human and I feel, right? And a lot of times when you speak on this thing called vulnerability, you see the reserve, you see the unwillingness to allow it. Why? Because it's a defense mechanism that we have allowed ourselves to believe or become accustomed to. Most people inherit something called generational traumas and generational curse. The issues you may see today transparently might be the reason why you behave the way you behave. Some people have been created to believe the way they believe before they were even born. Grandma behaved a certain way, mom behaved a certain way, and now you go to the third generation, which is you, or the fourth generation, you see it very transparent. There's a statement I hear a lot of people say, and I must address this. They said, I don't like to do business with black people. Black people say this a lot. But here's the narrative. You need to start saying, I don't like to do business with the wrong black people or the wrong people, right? Because there are good black business people and there are good white business people and there are good Spanish good people, business people. There's another statement that a lot of women use that I think is the reason why a lot of them are losing. How many times you hear women say, I don't want or need a man? Listen, ladies, words give every bit of affirmations to the world. If you say you don't want a man or you don't need a man, why don't you say this? I don't want any more boys. Because a lot of times the women that they describe, they're every bit of boys. They're not men. When I listen to some of the things that women say, I'm like, that's a boy. That ain't no man. Because a man would never put himself in that position to be even like that. A man would never be codependent on you financially unless he fell off to a point where he needs you. And that's human, right? But again, when we speak on these particular matters, you meet a lot of people that always backtrack with lies to accommodate the unreality. They don't want the reality to be seen. So I will show you my lies, but I never show you my truth. Two sides of the coin. Two sides to the coin. Two sides to the coin, right? I must be able to show my internal in order for me to fully heal. Because again, a wound may heal from the outside, but yet and still be every bit so infected on the inside. And that's what we must identify. I said that again. A wound may every bit be so healed on the outside, but every bit been so infected on the inside. And a lot of us are infected because we were taught how to procreate a sick mentality. We were taught how to normalize poor behaviors. One of the most misdiagnosed behaviors that I see is something called verbal abuse. It's one of the most misdiagnosed abuses I see. Culturally, we believe that it's normal to disrespect somebody to the low of lows because this is what I do when I'm upset. That is called the lack of emotional maturity. But yet and still, we've normalized this belief to be normal. And then you believe on a surface level, right? This guy that's been cursed out or this woman that's been cursed out and talked to like a dog, on the surface, they look every bit so present. When you flip the coin, right? So you flip that coin, you done started building something called mental illness. You done built something called traumas. You done built something called insecurities, right? When a person is vulnerable with you and you allow them to learn certain aspects of you and you use that against them, all you did was create something called insecurities. If I tell you something personable about me and you use that against me, it shows the weakness that you truly are. You're weak. Because you don't have the maturity enough to hold back that someone was vulnerable with you, but then you want to hurt so bad because of how you feel inside that you want to hurt back. That's a lack of maturity, guys. But society has said this is a normal behavior. And that's a sickness. That's a sickness. Listen, when you have something called a disease inside the body, we must remove it. I believe that more people are mentally infected than they are physically. They're mentally infected because they believe that this is normal. Man, I will not date a woman that I have to be with. In order for me to stay with her, I have to be verbally abused every time she get upset. That's normal. That's normal. That's normal. Or you've been so conditioned to believe that something is normal that it's not. Again, I will never know that Ruth Chris or Peter Luger's steak tastes good if I keep eating Applebee's. I've ate Applebee's my whole life, so therefore, of course, I believe that Applebee's is good. But once you take Ruth Chris, you realize that steak was never that good. But it's about what you're exposed to. I want to see emotional maturity progress. I want people to be able to have a grown-up argument opposed to acting like two high school students. This is what we need to talk about. Two sides of the coin. Ladies and gentlemen, men, if you violate your woman to the T, and when y'all go back on regular terms, don't expect her to feel the same way she used to feel. Two sides of the coin. You may look at the body, still looks regular, but mentally, that mind is infected. It's infected. But we don't have these conversations. We've normalized our poverty mentality. The way we think is so wrong. And why is this? Because humans are naturally creatures of habit, and a lot of us didn't even, listen, a lot of us wasn't even given choices on how we want to live and believe. We were forced to believe certain things that's not right. And now to undigest something that you've already eaten, you was forced to eat this garbage to the point where you believe that this is normal. You believe that is normal. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. 516-253-1150. Again, you're forced to believe that in order to be around people, you have to be toxic. You have to be toxic. This is what we've normalized. And when you speak against it, you become the problem for the problem. But in reality, to address the problem, you're not the problem. He or she who addresses the problem are actually the solution. Because if someone don't raise your awareness, the truth, you're going to keep believing the lie. And that's the truth. But again, when I say these things, a lot of people get offensive. They get offended. But I'm going to tell you something. The greatest truth will always ruffle your feathers. The greatest truth will always ruffle your feathers. Because it's forcing you to think. It's forcing you to come out your comfort. It's forcing you to address the issues that you've never addressed. Because you put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs surgery don't mean the surgery is still not a necessity. Because you put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs surgery don't mean that the surgery is still not a necessity. That's how we think. We believe that mental illness is not real. We believe that trauma is not real. We believe that people are not suffering in silence. We believe that people need to heal. We don't believe that people need to be allowed to speak on what's going on in their mind. The safest spaces that you can find, right? We playing hide and seek with our emotions, and we hid it in a place where we forgot where we put it at. And what happens with these emotions is that when you get mad, they come back out. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. You upset. Now here comes how you really feel. And this is what we don't talk about. A lot of times we force ourselves to believe that certain emotions we're not affected. Listen, I told a guy, he was arguing with a guy. In the midst of their argument, he was willing to throw his whole life away to hurt this guy back. Because we have a culture where we believe that I have to get the last laugh. I have to get the last everything. I looked at him and said, you about to throw your whole life away for a mosquito. He said, what do you mean? I said, bro, you're trying to kill a mosquito with a cannon. You're about to kill a mosquito with a cannon. You're willing to blow up a whole city block for a mosquito. Let me say that again. You're trying to kill a mosquito with a cannon. It don't make sense. You got to understand sometimes you got to say shoot fly. Some people are that small. Fly swatter, swat them away. But again, if you allow yourself to keep indoctrinating your mind to believe a false belief, you're going to only believe the belief that you believe. You believe your own madness. This is how you procreate delusion. Delusion is the reality to a fool. Delusion is the reality to a fool. Delusion is the reality to a liar. Delusion is to the reality to a person that don't want to hear truth. Delusion is the reality to anyone that don't want to see the truth. Delusion. I think a lot of people are very delusional, right? And I can break it down why and how. If I go into a store and I spend a bunch of money on expensive items and I still got to go back to my poverty situation, but because I wear expensive things, I want people in the area to believe that I'm rich. But here's the narrative. The only person that would think you're rich is a person who's not rich. Ultimately showing that you're not rich. When you're trying to impress broke people, that means you're broke yourself. And this is a reality. But if I say this statement, people will get mad. It's two sides to every coin. What may glitter ain't always gold. And what may shine is not always a diamond. And this is a reality. I think people fear seeing themselves in their nude. When I say nude, it means your rawest form. Sometimes you got to strip yourself down from everything you put on yourself to hide yourself from yourself and start building back yourself to who you are today. Now, listen what I just said. Let me take that back because I think that went over somebody's head. Let me say that one more time. I think you need to strip yourself down to your rawest version of yourself and then start building yourself back up. Some of the clothes you done kept too long, you can't even fit no more, but you still want those clothes. Why? Because those clothes you feel still look good on you. Those conversations that you used to have don't look good on you anymore. You got to get rid of them. You got to sell it off. Some of those things you need to go give to a thrift store. You cannot walk around with a second-handed mentality believing that you're going to be the first place winner. You have a second-hand mentality believing that you're going to be the first place winner. A second-hand mentality. Ladies and gentlemen, you're being taught how to win by losers. You're being taught how to be in shape by someone that's out of shape. You're being taught how to be intelligent by somebody that won't even open a book. This is the world. Social media has given everybody a platform to be somebody. We're in the world of the gurus now. Everybody's a goddamn guru. Or won't open a goddamn book. It's easy to say that you're winning because of social media. It's easy to play that you act like you're something you're not. It's easy to be what you're not when you're around people who aren't anything, right? Right? This is the truth. So I look back and I ask myself every day, how do you fix what you can't see is broken? I'm asking that question live right now. How do you fix, what you can't see is broken, right? How do you fix what you can't see is broken? You know when you go to your grandmother's house, and everybody in this room, I know y'all probably did it before, you ever broke something, and you turn it around, and you push it up against the wall, and you try to act like you didn't break something, but then someday somebody find out that it's broken? That's how we are. We that item that been broke, that we pushed up against the wall, right? And you hit the crack in it, and you act like it's still together. A lot of us is broken. Let me say that again. God damn. Let me say that one more time. Listen to this. Because you know that item, when you go to your family house when you're young, let's say a vase, you know you hit it and you break it, and then you turn it around and you push it up against the wall, and when you push it up against the wall, you try to act like you didn't break it, but it got that big crack on the side of it, and then one day somebody else touches it, and what happens to it? It falls apart. You know that vase? That's what you are. You're broken. You're broken. Because you hide your scars and your cracks don't mean it still doesn't exist. Some of the worst wounds is the wounds that don't bleed. Some of the worst wounds is the wounds that don't bleed. A lot of us are bleeding internally right now, and you can't see it's bleeding, so therefore you think it's not happening. Because you hide what's going on in reality don't mean that it's not there. And this is what we got to identify. And that's the issue. But I sit back every day and ask myself right now, I don't want to be cracked no more. I don't want to be broken. We're broken. A lot of us are broken, right? For a woman to look me in my face and say something like, all men are trash, what does that say? She is broken. For a man to think that all women are thoughts or hoes, what does that say about him? He is broken. For a person to believe that every job wants to take advantage of you, that means you're broken. That means you don't see value in yourself. A lot of us are broken. But I say this all the time, there's two sides to every coin. There's two sides to every coin, right? But when you speak on anything remotely against what people believe, you become the problem. Someone calling right now, 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. Right? Someone just said, that happened to me yesterday. Literally, moving my salon chair across my wood floor. I get it. That's how we are, right? A lot of us need to realize that we riding around every day, mentally, right? Our check engine light has been on for years. But yet and still we don't want to check the issues. You act like if you ignore the issue on a check engine light, it's just gonna go away. You think sometimes it's bigger than an oil change. Sometimes you need transmission fluid. Sometimes you may need engine oil. Sometimes you may need a new engine. Sometimes you may need a whole new car. Because sometimes we believe that the car may be the problem, but you may be the problem yourself. Sometimes it's the person that's driving the car that might be the problem. You got to check in on yourself. You got to check in on yourself. Somebody right now need to go get an oil change mentally. They need to release all the old dirty fluids that they've been driving around with for years. You got to release them. But again, you're not going to believe you need this. Why? Because we believe that we're not the problem. The world is the problem. I'm not the problem. But you got to realize again, as you see the head of a coin, that's not the most visible part. The visible part, what you see, is the fact that what's behind the surface level is what we need to correct. Our culture suffers from a poor poverty mentality. We make money. But the fact of the matter is, you believe that we don't make money, so therefore you believe that you behave like people that don't make money, because you've been taught that we don't make money. Let me say that one more time. Culturally, we believe that we don't make money. But in reality, we do make money. But the problem is how we behave with the money we have. See, I cannot have a size 10 shoe trying to force my foot in a size 8. That's the problem. You make $60,000 trying to force yourself into a $150,000 lifestyle. It don't fit. Let me say that one more time. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all do not hear me. The problem is you wear a size 10 shoe and you're forcing your foot in a size 8 shoe and you're wondering why the shoe is hurting your feet because you make $60,000 a year and you're trying to live a $150,000 lifestyle. That's the problem. The size don't fit. It don't fit. But when you tell somebody to act their wage, they start talking crazy. They get reckless. Act your wage. There's nothing wrong with acting your wage because if you act your wage, you can ultimately change your wage. Let me say that one more time. If you act your wage, you can ultimately change your wage. Because here's the narrative. If you live within your means, You'll have more money to invest to big up or better your needs. But if you don't act your wage, you're going to act like you're already at a wage you're not. And then you start believing your own madness. You start behaving a way that's not really you. And that's the problem. We're conditioned to believe that as long as I look like I am successful, therefore I am successful. That's a culture. That's a culture. Someone is teaching this poor mentality, right? We got to get back to what's the reality, right? There's two sides to every coin. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. 516-253. One of y'all jump in right now. 516-253-1150. Someone calling right now, right? Look at your money as an army, right? Look at your money as an army. Take this for instance. Your money is soldiers in the army. And you see them, right? Here's a narrative. I go to war with 1,000 soldiers. You go to war with 1 million soldiers. Who is more likely to win? The person that has 1 million soldiers. Why do they win is because of the fact that the person that's saving and investing in money will ultimately win the war. Right now, the war is finance. But people believe that if I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Right? Someone said if you're a cashier and you act like you can manage and do the job and the boss, then your wage may change. I respect that. Right? I will call in, but resonating too much. Call in right now. I want you to call in Elizabeth right now. Call in right now. That's the whole point. Because there's somebody on this live that need to hear your testimony right now. Right? The problem is we worried about being judged. I don't judge. I got issues. I got a little Negro in my mind that sits on my left shoulder, and I got a little Negro that sits on my right shoulder, and the little Negro on my left shoulder tell me to do some Negro shit, and the Negro on my right shoulder tell me that you shouldn't be doing no Negro stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you. I decide every day not to do it because I choose to follow the right one. I get told every day you should go blow the bag. I blow a bag today. I think like that too. But I fight with myself every day to make sure I don't make poor decisions. It's a fight because you're fighting generational treatments and teaching. What happens is we put Band-Aids on wounds that need surgery. Financially, I know that we need the money to get further, but yet and still, I want to look like I'm further. So guess what? I'm going to put things on me to make me look like I'm further. That's the little Negro right here telling me to do that. And the little Negro right here telling me, you're wilding. You're bugging. Don't do it. It's not worth it. But what do? It's hard to live in your reality when your reality is delusion. Let me say that again. It's hard to live in your reality when your reality is delusion. Why is your reality delusion? Because when you go in your environments, everyone is behaving like the little Negro on the left. So it's easy to be the little Negro on the left when everybody acts like it. It's easy to waste your money when everybody ain't saving. It's easy to take trips when everybody's wasted. It's hard to hear the little voice, right? What happens is this. Look at this, Tyler. You start suppressing the little voice because you like the voice of recognition everyone is giving you on your left. Everyone is telling you that you're winning. Everybody's telling you doing your thing. Girl, that bag is fire. But they don't see that you ain't got no damn furniture. It's easy to look like you winning.
Damn.
If everyone is going left, sometimes you got to go right. If everyone is going left, you have to go right. You got to go right. It's easy to do the wrong thing than it is to do the right thing. And the reason why we say wasted money is the wrong thing, but it looks like it's the right thing because everyone is doing the same thing. Right? What 50 said? We in the club doing the same old two-step. It's 2024. Some of y'all still in the same old club doing the same old two-step. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to live in reality. Following the crowd always looks good. It's a lifestyle that a lot of people that's losing portray. It's called FOMO. The fear of missing out. Say that with me, guys. Everybody on my live, say this with me. We're going to say this slow. Everybody in the room, say this with me. The fear of missing out. No, we got to say it one more time. Let's do this a little better. Bring it in a little bit, guys. Let's do this better. I want everybody to hear this on my live. 1, 2, 3. The fear of missing out. And that's what y'all fear. Y'all fear that y'all missing something that y'all not missing. Jamaica's not going to miss you. Dominican Republic is not going to miss you. But you know what's going to miss you? Your children when you go and you leave them nothing. That's who's going to miss out. They're going to miss out on mommy wasting all her resources, pretending to be somewhere she's not. They're going to miss out on daddy wasting all his resources on trying to impress people who have absolutely nothing. Damn. Listen, Miami ain't gonna miss you. What do you call it, the Yams? It's canceled? Spring break over? Oh, the spring break not allowed anymore. Oh, wow. They canceled Miami. That's a good thing. But y'all figure out where else to go. They'll figure out somewhere else to go, right? We gotta have these conversations, ladies and gentlemen. Miami doesn't even want us anymore. Wow. Miami. Someone call it right now. Let's talk about it. 516-253-1150. One more time. 516-253-1150. Someone call in right now. Call in. Listen, we ain't doing that this year. We ain't into that anymore. We got to realize there's two sides to every coin. Everything that look like is winning, but it ain't. It ain't. And I'm not doing that anymore. I don't want to be the person in the back of the race when I know I have the ability to be in the front of the race. Why are you running at half speed when you have the ability to make yourself to the front of the race? You have the ability. But the sad part is, you prefer to be in the back of the race. Why? Because everyone at the back of the race is the people you know. You dumb yourself down. You dumb yourself down. You dim your light. It says shine bright like a diamond. Don't say shine bright like the people you're around. Let me say that again. It says shine bright like a diamond. It doesn't say shine bright like the people you're around. That's not what it says. Let me say that one more time. Give it to Rihanna. Rihanna says shine bright like a diamond, but you'd rather shine bright like the people you're around. And dumb yourself down. Dim yourself from your greatest light that you are. You every bit of everything you believe you can be. There's a reason why we're constantly dreaming. A dreamer is a dreamer. Oh my God, a dream is a dream to a loser who takes no steps. But a dream is a dream for a winner who takes the steps and make it their reality. There's two types of people that dream, guys. One person that dreams is a person that keeps the dream in their mind and only dream about it, and they drive their Maserati and their Ferrari in their dreams. And you have the person that dreams and they make it happen in reality. You got to choose what dream you're going to have. A lot of people don't want to turn the other side of the coin. You got to work on your internals so your external can project what you feel on your internal. Some of the most beautiful people on the outside feel so ugly on the inside. So the most handsome men feel so ugly on the outside because of how they feel on the inside. You may see a body and assume because the body is big and is masculine or she's thick and sexy and voluptuous, right? But in her mind, she's every bit of weak. In his mind, he has the mind of a peanut. He has the belief of a child. And this is a reality. But why is this? He's not or she's not exposed to an environment that's telling him that you can do so much more. We got to believe that we can do so much more. We got to believe that we can do so much more. We talked about something called the BBL last week, a couple weeks ago. The BBL stands for building a better life to me. I don't know about no Brazilian butt lift, but I definitely know about building a better life. So we talk about the BBL over here. We talk about building a better life. Damn. Someone call in right now. 516-253-1150. Here's the narrative, though. When you look at these people who may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, meaning they're not the most intelligent, but if they're the most disciplined, they would outperform their intelligence. That's what people don't understand. There's a guy in the NBA right now by the name of Scotty Barnes. People keep saying that he's autistic. They joke about it all the time. All the time, but yet and still, this man's gonna be a $100 million earner. So if he's autistic and still managed to get himself to a $100 million NBA contract, that man is intelligent. And I tip my fat hat to him. That's amazing. But you wanna hear something crazy? The person that's born with no disability, to me, is the laziest person on earth. This person may be declared autistic. You have no major issues, no dilemmas, no problems, but yet still believe that if you can win by doing absolutely nothing. So who got the disability in reality? Damn. I need one of y'all to call in right now. Let's talk about this. 516-253-1150. I need one of y'all to call in right now. Let's talk about this thing. How do we fix the way we want to project on the outside from the inside? There are people who want the world to see them a certain way, but they don't even see themselves that way. We fear what we've grown. We fear what we're not used to. But I'm gonna tell you something, and I want you to get this. Put yourself on the battlefield, and you look across the battlefield, and the person you see is you. The person you see is you. Every move you choose to do, whether you move to the right, that person moves to the right. When you move to the left, that person moves to the left. You take a step forward, that person take a step forward. You take a step backwards, that person take a step backwards. That person is mirror in everything you do because that person you're battling is you. And there's only one way to beat this person that's in front of you. You got to create a new mentality that person don't know who you are no more, no longer able to mirror or do the things you do. Because the old you know what you like. So what happens subconsciously, your mind will put you in environments that you're used to. Subconsciously, your mind will take you around things that you're accustomed to. Subconsciously, your mind will bring people around you that you're accustomed to. It knows you. It knows everything about you. But in order to beat the old you, you have to become the new you. But if you're not willing to become the new you, you'll never beat the old you. You cannot outperform bad habits. It's impossible. If you bad with small money, you're definitely gonna be bad with big money. You cannot go to the gym 30 days a week. Yeah, I said a week. 30 days a week and eat bad. It don't make sense. Because all you're doing is working to eat more. Think about it. If you go to the gym 7 days a week and you're eating bad, you're never gonna show the results. You're fighting your own self, right? If you go to the library and never open a book and projecting that you're gonna be intelligent, your mother and father gotta be first cousins if you believe that's something wrong with you. I'm gonna say that again. If you go to the library, never open a book, and think that you're gonna be hyper intelligent, your mother and father has to be first cousins because there's something clearly wrong with you. There's inbreeding in your home. Damn. Because ain't no way. Ain't no way. Mommy and daddy got the same last name. And when they go to family reunions, everybody cousins and brothers, and they all know each other. That's the only way that could make sense to somebody like that. It don't make no damn sense. We got to get into our reality, snap out of this delusional crap. There's two sides to every coin. But you got to be able to look on the internal so you can reflect on the external. A lot of us don't want to project our realities of what we see ourselves. A person should never determine your mentality. You got to determine what you think. Your mother could have been a crackhead and your father could be a bum, but yet still you could be the king and queen that you truly are. It has nothing to do with you. It's a choice. My mother could be the laziest woman on earth, but yet still I could be every bit of the hard worker that I want to be. My environment could project me to be every bit of a statistic, but yet and still I decide not to be a statistic. We got to fight against our bad starts. We can accept our fate. Because sometimes you got to realize certain things are an accepted fate. It's an accepted fate. We accept failure. And we allow ourselves to believe that failure is in our cards. When you get a bad hand when you're playing cards, you got to play the best of the ability of what you can. Because I know some people who have outperformed their starts. I started the starting line right, the gun goes off, boom, I fall as soon as I start. I get up and jog? No, I got to run harder. I got to catch back up. The race ain't over till it's over, guys. The race is not over till it's over. We got to realize this race ain't over. Our hearts are still ticking. Our minds are still functioning. Our bodies are still working, right? So we got time to fix anything we want to fix. But the one thing is, you got to start projecting on anything from the internal to the outternal. You got to project how you feel about yourself outside. I genuinely believe that most people will never surpass a certain level until they break a certain mentality. They will never in life break a certain threshold until they break a certain threshold. It's never going to happen. First thing you do, you wake up in the morning, you want to smoke a blunt, but believe that you're going to be the world's richest person. Wow. God damn. There's some more inbreeding. Some more inbreeding. That's what we're going to call it, inbreeding. No disrespect to somebody that's inbred, but listen, it is what it is. Blood a little too close. Blood just a little too close. A little too close. Come on, we got to make this, we can't make this crap up. Some of us are delusional. And the problem with the delusional mind is the delusional mind believes its own sickness. I'm going to tell you something. You want to see how strong your mind is? Everybody in my life, listen to this. Tomorrow, when you wake up, right? Tell yourself 20 times in a row, your back hurt. Before you know it, your back gonna start hurting. Because the mind start giving off these signals to the back that it hurts and it really don't even hurt. You can make yourself believe whatever you want. You ever told yourself you were sick because you wanted to play hooky from school and then you start believing that you were sick? That's how the delusional the mind can be. You keep telling yourself you're sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, and then your mind start believing that you're sick. Right? Ladies, some of y'all ain't fat, y'all bloated, so stop saying you fat. Some of y'all just bloated. Yeah, I said it. Men, some of y'all not the kings that y'all could become because some of y'all are putting too much energy in women. Let me say it again. Men, some of y'all not becoming kings because some of y'all is putting too much of your energy in women. A man's objective is not to pursue and chase women. A man's objective is to pursue purpose. A man is supposed to go after his best version of himself, ultimately leading himself to the greatest results, and then finding a helpmate to build the rest of the empire because women naturally benefit from the men becoming the best versions of themselves the most anyway. It's not my opinion, it's a fact. Think about that all the time. A woman loves supporting a man because of the fact that she knows that she's going to benefit from it the most. A real woman understands this. But men are too busy spending their resources. I remember one time the girl said to the boy, let me take that back, young man, you broke? He said, yeah, I am broke. He said, but I'm broke because of, I said, you broke because of the fact that you spending all your resources on her. So of course you're broke. Because your relationship is based on how much money you spend. And the sad part is, men are measured in today's society how good we are based on how much we give. Not about how far we take our families mentally and how far we willing to carry y'all on our back. It's all about how much money we spend. right? A lot of times we measure love based on the money. When we came here earlier, one of the guys in the studio said to his woman, she got a little mad at him snitching. She said she got a little mad because it was their anniversary, right? But then she said, he does love me all year long. So guys, I think we need to realize that love is not measured on materialism. It's measured on the fact that I'm willing to give you the rest of my life. I'm willing to spend the rest of my life with you, and I want you in my corner. I want to see you get rusty and old, and you have gout and smell like Ben Gay, and I'm gonna love you regardless. That is true love. When you funky, musty, and everything in a wheelchair, I push it. I think that's what matters the most. And as a man to my young brother, I respect the comment because it means truth. I think society needs to get out of this material thing, right? Don't get me wrong, ladies. I get y'all like nice things. It's okay. Occasionally, we have to do it. But let's not measure love on a holiday. That's pagan. You know what a holiday is? The holiday is the first day you told her you love her. Your holiday in your house should be the first day y'all had your child. Your holidays you have is the day we purchased our home. Y'all create your own holidays in your home. These little pagan holidays mean nothing. You know why? Because the day you close on your home is a day y'all should celebrate every single year. That's the day me and my woman started our wealth. That's what matters the most. It's two sides to every coin. But if you keep looking at the wrong side of the coin, you're going to ultimately believe that that's reality. I learned a lot. I love talking to younger, older, and everything in between, right? And this is the truth. Someone said love is a scam. The truth is love, your true love first. I agree 100%. Listen, I'm a God-fearing man. I don't want to throw in my religion, and I don't like to do that. But it says love does not impose its own will. It says it tells you what love is. But we've made love a whole different factor. Love is not because I'm willing to give you all my money. That is not love. Because if I have to buy you to love me, that means I can't afford you. And I don't want to afford you. I'm not going to be measured based on what I put on your finger. I'm going to be measured based on what I put on your heart. How much I touch that heart. How much I entice your mind. How much I support you. How much I'm there for you. Those are the things we need to revalue. We need to learn what love is, what is trust, what is honor, what is integrity. I think the ultimate love is when two people learn to embrace each other's flaws, and then they work on being the better version of that person what they're not. If I'm bad at saving, my mate should work harder to be a better saver rather than keep complaining about what I'm not. Most people don't choose to be what they are. They come from certain circumstances that allow them to be what they are. So humans are creatures of habit. And this is what we gotta realize. People don't choose to be who they are. Life creates us to be what we are. Everyone you see circumstantially may have become what they are. You know how you know? You could see a baby, right? A baby sees no color. And then by the time that baby 15, 16-year-old, what they see color. You think it was by circumstances or by teaching. You can see a person that don't respect, that don't have a care about money in the world, but now everything they care about is materialistic. You think that is by nature or by teaching? It's teaching. I got something called nurture versus nature. And we got to see the realities. I think it's 50-50. Me and you talked about this before, Justin, but it's 50-50. Nurture versus, I think it's 50-50. It's 50-50. A lot of people are what they see or they learned and what they've been through. It's just what it is. We got to change the narrative, guys. There's two sides to every coin. But if you keep looking at the wrong side, you're never going to see the good side of things. All right? When it rains tomorrow, and I didn't want it to rain, I'm going to say, thank God I ain't got to water my grass. When I wake up tomorrow and the bill is due, I'm going to say, damn, but thank God I could afford it. When things are not going the way I want from now on, I'm going to try to find the good in it. So turn that coin over and try to find the good in everything. Ladies and gentlemen, the person you complain about every day is somebody wishing they had that person. Let me say that again. God damn. God damn. Y'all don't want to hear this. Y'all don't want to hear this truth, but y'all gonna get this work. Y'all gonna get this work today. There's somebody right now that need to hear this. The person that you complain about every single day, there's someone that wish they had that person every single day. The things you complain about that you've made that are so small, because the problem is you've been searching for perfection. Is the funniest thing I see is an imperfect person looking for perfection. An imperfect person looking for perfection. So you want a perfect person to accept your imperfected self. But you see no wrong with yourself. That means you've become delusional. When you believe there's nothing wrong with you, but someone has to accept you, but you can't accept nothing about them. Damn. That sounds crazy as hell. That sound crazy as hell. H-E double hockey sticks. Hell. And this is what we've done. We've allowed ourselves that a person is great if they accept all my flaws, but I'm a good mate. Who complains about all your flaws? Listen to, oh my God, that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. Right? Oh my God, man. Let me say that again. Hold on one second, guys. Y'all gotta hear this. I told you. Mother and fathers, first cousins. Inbreeding. I told you. I told you. I told you what it is. Let me say that again. You have a person that's nowhere near perfect, but believe that a perfect person would want them. I think if I was perfect, I would want a perfect woman. And the last time I think that two perfect beings ever walked on earth, it was someone called Adam and Eve. That's the last time, guys. My name ain't Adam and my girl name ain't Eve. Right? None of us will ever be perfect. We all have our flaws. We gotta learn to understand, respect, and to deal with each other. We say a statement, we must meet people where they are. But understand why people are the way they are is because of the things that they've been through. The circumstances of what you've gone through has made you what you are. I am very insecure at times because my environment made me very insecure. No one ever told me that you're a good man. Why do you think most men love languages, words of affirmation? Because you were never taught it. You were never told. You were only told that you're a good man if you do something for a woman. A man is only looked at as good if he do things for a woman. Ladies, you better look beyond the material. Because I'm going to tell you something. Material comes and goes. But true love will last forever. So either A, you can value the material, you can value true love. Because when you're old and you can't, what you going to do, live in your bag? Or you want somebody that's there supporting you, loving you for who you are? Because ladies, one day your butt will fall. Men, one day your stomach will poke out. It's just what it is. Ladies, one day your butt will fall and your breast will sag. And men, one day your stomach will poke out and you will put on weight. So therefore, let's be logical. When a person loves you for you, they're willing to still like you with them saggy breasts and all. And men, when a woman loves you, she's going to love you for your big old pop belly and all. They call it the dad body. It's the beard belly or the dad body. Right, let me just say this. I'm about to get out of here, guys. How long does it take for you to get out of your generational trauma? Or do you think you have to learn to deal and live with it? I'm going to say this before we get out of here. Life is about finding ways to cope, right? Not escaping, but facing it. In life, you learn how to deal with your traumas, right, by facing it. You cannot run from demons and believe that you're going to beat your demon. You got to face your demons. Head on. Embrace it. But yet and still understand this narrative. You never learn to get over things. You learn how to live with things, but not using substances or things that deflect the reality. You have to go after it. And I'm going to tell you something. The more you face it, the easier it becomes to cope and deal with it. You lose somebody you love. The first day, it feels like you'll never breathe and live again. But by the time you blink, a year's gone by, you still feel it, but you're living. You get into 2 years, 3 years, you still feel it, but you're living, right? We got to learn how to live again, guys. We got to stop looking at the negatives and start looking at the positive. There's two sides to every coin, God. Two sides to every coin. Till next time, guys. I love y'all. Don't let that go over your head.